Hello, welcome everyone, and welcome to Bhante and Stan. All right, welcome to Jens, Bradley, Sally, who already have 3 questions, or a very long question. And hello, Edward. Okay, now Stan is going to make the video viral. Wonderful. Okay, so we will start by chanting the Ratana Sutta. So you can find the link of the Ratana Sutta at the beginning of the live chat. You can chant together with us and with Stan as well, if you wish to. Hello, Laura, Scott, Marielle, and Ethan. Okay, so we can start by chanting.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yani bhutani samagatani bummani vayani vantareke. Sabeva bhuta sumana bhavantu atopi sakacha sunantu vasitam. Tasmahi bhutani sameta sabe vetam habrota manusiya pajaya. Devacharato chaharanti evalim tasmahine rakata pamata. Yankinchi vitang edava uramba sage suvayam ratanam panitam. Nano samangati tathagatena idampi buddhe ratanam panitam. Etena sachena suvati hotu. Kayam viragam amatam panitam yadanchaka sakyamuni samahito. Natena dhammena samati kinchi idampi dhamme ratanam panitam. Etena sachena suvati hotu. Yang Buddha seto parivanayi suchim samadhimanantarikanyamahu. Samadhinathena samona vijjati dampi dhamme ratanam panitam. Etena sachena suvati hotu. Ye Pungala tasatam pasata chatari edani yugani honti. Te dakineya sugata sasavaka te sudimnani mahapalani. Idampi sanghe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Yesu payuta manasa dalhena nekamino gotamasa sanami. Te patipata matam vigaiha ladda mudani buddhim punchamana. Idampi sanghe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Yatinna kilo patavim sito siya chatu bivate via sampakampiyo. Tatu pamang samburisam vadami yo ariya sachani avesha pasati. Idampi sanghe ratanam panitam yetena sachena suvati hotu. Ye ariya sachani bhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani. Kinchapi te honti busapamata na te bhavanga tamanga diyanti. Idampi sanghe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Sahava sadasana sampadaya tayasu dhamma jahita bhavanti. Sakaya deti vichikititancha silambatam vapiyadati kinchim. Chatuhapaye cha vipamuto chachabitana niyababbokatum. Vidampi sanghe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Kinchapi sokam karoti papakam kayena vacha udacheta savam. Avabbo sotassa patichadaya avabbatadita padasavutta. Idampi sanghe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu.
Vanapagumbe yata
Pusitage gimhanamase patamasmin gimhe. Tatupamam dhammavaram gadesayi nibbanagaming paramam hitaya. Nidampi buddhe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Varo varanyu varado varaharo anutaro dhammavarangadesayi. Idampi buddhe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Kinam puranam navam nati sambhavam virata citta yatike bhavasmi. Te kina vija virulhin chanda nimbanti dhirayatayam paripo. Idampi sanghe ratanam panitam etena sachena suvati hotu. Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vantaleke. Tathagatam devamanusapujitam buddham namassama suvati hotu. Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vantaleke. Tathagatam devamanusapujitam dhammam namassama suvati hotu. Yani bhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vantaleke. Tathagatam devamanusapujitam sangham namassama suvati hotu. Etena sacha vanjena dukavo pasamentu te. Etena sacha vanjena bhayavo pasamentu te. Etena sacha vanjena rogavo pasamentu te. Okay, so please get in meditation posture. I think you already know what posture I recommend. And of course, as I'm putting my legs into lotus position, I asoma stole the cat. But that's fine. If I have to pick between full lotus and the cat, I'll take the lotus. Stan just glared at me. So whoever thinks cats can't understand English haven't spent much time with cats. But we're not here to do mindfulness of cats. We're here to do mindfulness of the Dhamma. So that's what we're here for. So please settle into your sitting position, making a resolution to let the body be still. Take a few deep breaths. To help settle the body and mind. Starting by focusing on the body as a way of steadying the mind and sharpening attention. So we'll spend the first few minutes focusing on mindfulness of the body. Just keeping the mind very still, alert, and peaceful by focusing on the body. So there's nothing else to worry about, nothing else to do, nothing important except focusing on the body. And as the mind becomes settled, stable, and sharp, you can gently turn awareness to mental phenomena, observing the flow of phenomena passing through the mind, passing through the field of awareness. Watching them come and go without desire or aversion for any of them, without holding on or pushing away. Clearly recognizing all mental phenomena as impermanent, insubstantial, and impersonal. Be careful not to get caught up in any of the phenomena that appear. Just let them come and go. Watch as they arise and vanish, clearly knowing this is not me, this is not mine, This does not define me. whatever appears. Just know it as not me, not mine. You can relax your posture. Taking a moment to appreciate the peacefulness of the mind. I'm told that there's already some questions, so if you have any more questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in, and we'll start going through whatever's there.
All right, thank you, Bhante. And Sally is asking, is the reason refers to craving that my wandering thoughts are all about nonsense, useless, noisy? If not contemplating the Dhamma, at least drifting about something joyful, like Dana, Buddha, etc. I was so habitual to immerse myself into nonsense. This is an incredible finding because I always thought I am diligent in practice. What a shame. If project my mind on the screen as a movie, I'm not interested in watching at all. You're very funny, Sally. If I don't dedicate half of my time in Dhamma, not say 7 years, I can't get there for 70 years. Good. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's an amazing discovery to realize how much of our time is wasted on frivolous thoughts. So the first step is knowing. And once you have knowing, then you can practice letting go. Ajahn Chah said, our practice is very simple. It's just knowing and letting go. Okay?
Sadhu. And Sally also says, in future meditation, should we blend this four Satipatthana whenever, whatever arises?
I usually recommend picking a meditation that you're going to do at the start of the meditation period and trying to stick with that. Blending the four Satipatthanas in a single meditation period, that can be done, but I don't particularly recommend it. And if you are going to do it strategically, not haphazardly. But yeah, four methods in one shot, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't really recommend it.
And James is saying, if this is not okay to ask for this session, ignore, but I think it's fine. He asks, can anapanasati be used to observe phenomena like in the fourth foundation? How is this done?
So anapanasati is in the context of the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, it's part of mindfulness of the body. Though in that place, the Buddha only emphasizes the first 4 of the 16 steps of mindfulness of breathing. It's sometimes pointed out, though, that if you practice the full 16-step Anapanasati instructions, that does cover all 4 Satipatthānas. Not explicitly in the way that it's laid out here in the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, but it winds up effectively covering the same territory, including mindfulness of the mind. So that's also part of the 16-step Anapanasati instructions.
And Gabriella says, how do we cultivate the awakening factor of tranquility?
Just relax. That's how.
She says passaddhi specifically.
Yeah, just relax. I'm not kidding. Just relax. I have someone's laughing because I tell her this all the time.
It has worked. I have relaxed, I have to say. I also got irritated when I was told to be relaxed, but I did relax, right? Over the years.
It's true. She's a lot more relaxed than she used to be. Yeah, just relax.
Kevin says, ha ha ha, love it, Bhante. Gabriela says, I will try harder to relax. Tries hard to relax.
Stop trying hard. That's the problem. You're like Sona from the Sona Sutta. So Venerable Sona, who's trying way too hard.
She puts in caps, try harder.
Gabriella, some people need to try harder and some people need to try less hard. You might be in the second category. Relax, take it easy. Try silent illumination practice. That might be really effective for you. You need to stop doing things for a little while. Just stop entirely. Just stop. Then you'll start to discover that tranquility was already there. You just weren't seeing it. It's very interesting. There's one sutta where the Buddha talks about methods for developing each of the 7 bojjhangas. And the instruction he gives for developing passaddhi, I initially found this kind of disappointing until I reflected on it more deeply. He says, pay attention to passaddhi. The way to develop tranquility is by paying attention to tranquility. And at first I was like, what? That's it? Surely he's got something deeper or more profound or more interesting to say. But then I reflected on that and I was like, wait a minute, he actually is saying something profound and interesting. He's saying that tranquility is already there. We just have to pay attention to it. And when we do, then it takes root in the mind. But it's already here. You don't need to try hard to cultivate passaddhi. Tranquility is already here. We just need to pay attention to it. Okay?
And Sally says, yes, I need that too. Just stop. Kevin is like, well, pretty sure I belong to the first category. Try more. It's great. See, everybody knows what they need to do.
So it said that the Buddha taught 64,000 dharmas, and this is why, because everybody needs to hear something different.
And we all need to do the same things.
84,000? 84,000.
Numberless.
84,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, 84,000. I don't know why I said 64.
Burmese approved.
Okay.
And, oh, cute. And James says, that's like when I get pissed and do metta harder. I put all my anger right into metta. Grrr. That's great.
Hey, if it works, it works.
And Bradley says, I also have a tendency to overcomplicate things. Do you? You seem pretty relaxed to me.
Yeah. Though it could just be a facade.
That's true. It's true.
But no, Bradley, I also thought you were pretty relaxed.
All right. And then getting back to Sally, she's saying, in the sitting, after the nonsense thoughts arise. So cute. I was thinking why they happen. What is the source? How to overcome? Is this also kind of involving? After I realized I was participating, I tried to stop. Then, whatever thoughts arise, I repeat, not self, only in that way. I stopped involving and just observing. I continue like this, okay?
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, even thinking, why are these thoughts arising? Even that is a form of involvement. So don't get involved. Just see it as like meaningless noise in the background, and then it will stop being a problem.
All right. And Bradley is specifying that he has a tendency to overcomplicate things, analytically speaking.
Yeah, so maybe you also need to just chill out a bit.
And James says Bradley is a master of disguise. You guys are all funny tonight. Okay, well, that was the last question comment. So, Bhante, do you want to share any last words on the 4 foundations of mindfulness?
Yes, you're all going to die.
That's for sure.
And so practice sincerely. And practicing sincerely doesn't necessarily mean trying really hard, but rather it means doing what's appropriate for your mind. And play fighting with the cat is probably not what's appropriate. So Ayasoma is play fighting with the cat just underneath the range of the camera, but right in front of me where I see it. And now she's laughing.
Sorry,
and she's turning red. She's actually blushing. This is unbelievable. And now she's blaming the cat for her own misbehavior.
Sorry, Bhante.
No problem. I forgive you.
Sadhu.
Yeah, so again, practice sincerely in a relaxed way. So our practice is a balance of effort and non-effort. We need to put forth enough effort that we continue moving forward, but to be relaxed enough that it's not a strain. And it's difficult to pin down exactly what this is, exactly where this goes. So you really have to experiment for yourself and find out. And it varies from moment to moment. But you start to get a feeling for what it's like when it's just right. You start to get a feeling for what it's like when the mind has that perfect balance of effort and relaxation. And you can just settle into that. It's like cruising speed. You're going at just the right speed. And that's when you tend to make the quickest progress. But it's also important not to get too caught up in thinking about progress. So this is another obstacle that people tend to run into in meditation practice, is they get really caught up in thinking about progress and trying to get something and trying to attain something. They're like, I really want to get jhana, and I really want to get stream entry, and I really want to get this, and I really want to get that. And then all that really wanting to get just gets in the way. So we set aside that seeking mind, that wanting to get, that wanting to attain. And we just focus on doing the practice with sincerity, with diligence, with the appropriate effort. So not too much, not too little, not too tight, not too loose, not too hot, not too cold. We want to apply the mind in just the right way. So if we're too tense in our practice, then we'll wear ourselves out and make ourselves agitated. But if we're too loose, then we'll just drift off and doze off and space out and daydream and not really achieve much of anything. So our effort is the effort of keeping the mind steady, stable, and alert, peaceful, and fully awake. So it's important to also keep bringing our practice deeper. So especially when doing insight practices like the perception of impermanence and the perception of not self, the perception of emptiness, it's necessary to not let it be only a superficial thing. So really looking closely at every aspect of our experience and recognizing this is not me, this is not mine, this is not permanent, this is not stable, this is not substantial. There's nothing here that's worth holding on to. There's nothing here that can be held on to. It's just dukkha arising and just dukkha ceasing. And recognizing that this applies to absolutely everything. It doesn't just apply to wandering thoughts. It doesn't just apply to irritation. It also applies to sight. So during the meditation we just did, I was particularly working on developing the perception of not self in relation to sight. So eye consciousness, seeing eye consciousness is not me and not mine. And that's a particular domain of meditation practice that I don't spend a whole lot of time on. But I was finding it especially fascinating and to dig into for a period of meditation. So also being willing to dig into parts of your practice that you don't normally do. Considering what parts of our experience do we not normally regard as impermanent, impersonal, and empty. And turning our attention to those parts of our experience through that lens of wisdom. Looking at those parts of our experience through the lens of wisdom when our samadhi is sufficiently developed, when we have sufficient mindfulness and concentration, to turn that eye of wisdom towards the parts of our experience that we don't normally look at, towards the parts of our experience that we take to be substantial and solid and reliable and me. To really look clearly at them and see that they're not substantial, they're not solid, they're not reliable, and they're not me. So really cultivating that perception. So the other day we talked about the list of perceptions. So seeing body and mind as alien, as disintegrating, as a disease, as a cancer, as et cetera, et cetera. So really working to cultivate that perception towards the parts of our experience that we tend to identify as me, or that we tend to rely upon as something stable and persistent. Recognizing that that is other. It's alien. It's not me. It's something external. It's something which is not permanent, not stable, not reliable. It's something which is impermanent. It's something which is empty. It's an affliction. As long as we try to hold on to it, it just hurts us. So really working to see what parts of our experience are we unwilling to turn the eye of wisdom towards. Because that's exactly what we need to turn the eye of wisdom towards. The parts of our experience that we don't want to see as not me. The parts of our experience that we don't want to regard as unstable. Those are exactly the parts that we need to see as unstable, as impersonal. And take it as a wonderful exploration, as an adventure. Meditation practice is an adventure, an exploration of a fascinating land. Like when you go to visit a country you've never been to before, and you're just like, oh, this is so lovely. I get to see new things and hear new things and learn new things and go to new places and try new food and meet new people and hear new languages, and so much fun, so exciting. Well, it's the same. As we develop our meditation practice, we're exploring our mind. And we're exploring our mind in a way that we've never explored it before. So it's fascinating, this delightful adventure. And it's a delightful adventure following in the footsteps of every Buddha that ever has been and ever will be. So, embark on the adventure. Really give it your all. explore it with zest, explore it with gusto, explore it with enthusiasm, but in that relaxed, peaceful way of a traveler on vacation. So our meditation practice doesn't need to be this terrible, painful, burdensome struggle. Oh, now I must develop samadhi. Now I must see everything as impersonal and dukkha, so much dukkha. No, it doesn't need to be like that. It can be the relaxed, joyful exploration of a traveler on vacation. Exploring the mind, exploring the nature of conscious experience, seeing for ourselves the joy that comes through letting go of whatever appears before the mind. So I really encourage you to practice sincerely with this kind of light-hearted, relaxed, joyful attitude of a traveler on vacation. Just exploring the nature of conscious experience. So I think that's all I have to say as a conclusion to our 4 days of Satipatthana study and practice. So if you have any last comments or questions on the subject, now's your opportunity. Please go ahead. And once we've taken care of any last words, then we'll close for the evening.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So Sally says, when focused on the body practice, Dhammanupassana, I put more attention on the image perception of how the body feels like. While in Kayanupassana, I emphasize the physical solid body, right?
That sounds reasonable. Yeah.
And Gabriela says, in my Dhammanupassana practice, I was trying to distance myself from bodily feelings, mental feelings, and focused on sorting them all out by Dhammic categories. But I found the hindrance of restless remorse
Too
to be
busy, too much work, too much busyness. No, just relax. Just observe the phenomena flowing through the mind as impermanent, impersonal, and empty. That's it. No categorizing, no sorting. You're just making yourself busy. That's not going to do you any good with metta.
And the question, in fact, was, so how do we figure out the balancing act? I think Bhante answered. And Kevin is saying, thank you, Kevin. For us cat lovers, I imagine only a true arhat could actually resist playing with a kitty directly in front of them. It is true. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. He was pawing me. It was too tempting.
Okay, admittedly, it was really cute. Like, Stan was like sticking out his little paw and like batting at her hand and then like fake biting at the hand. It was really cute.
Thank you for understanding. And Cam says, thank you, Bhante, for clarifying about progress. I always feel bad that I don't make enough of progress. Sadhu. That's because you're already great. So
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Once you reach a point, then it starts slowing down the progress that you make. So don't be too hard on yourself, Cam. It's because you're all like really great. For me, progress was really fast because there were so many course defilements to remove.
No comment.
And Bradley says, sigh, so hard to let go. Nah, it's so easy. You just let go. That's it. Easy. And Kevin is giving a friendly Dana reminder. If you can or able, please visit BuddhistInsights.com/donate to support the monastery and the teachings. Sadhu, 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 Kevin, for always looking after the monastery. And James says, yes, Dana. Gabriela says, I consider it to be like surfing the breath when doing anapanasati, keeping the attention on the breath rising and falling. Metta is like a huge blaster of warm and fuzzy feelings that eats the universe with kindness. Satipatthana is a scavenger hunt That's kind of cute.
I
Like
can
really,
dig that scavenger hunt.
it's like
Yeah.
really cool similes of
Yeah.
future Buddha in the making. And Mark says, so I'm very eye-oriented even in practice, always looking any suggestions on how to work with this or do. Or do I need to?
Yeah, see the I as not me, not mine, not what I am. See sight as not me, not mine, not who I am. See I consciousness as not me, not mine, not who I am. See eye contact as not me, not mine, not who I am. See the feelings arising from eye contact as not me, not mine, not who I am. Go through it in this way. Really trying to cultivate that recognition of not self in regard to every aspect of the process of seeing. This is an incredibly profound meditation practice. It's really worth doing, especially if you have a lot of attachment to sight, to seeing, which most people do, to be honest. But if you think you have a particularly strong attachment with it, then yeah, definitely work on that meditation.
And James says, Kevin, objection. An arhat would pet the cat without attachment as a metta practice. I will most certainly be that arhat. And Mark says, also Maya wants to know how old you were when you became a monk. And me too.
Well, I started living in monasteries at the age of 20, and I've been in monasteries ever since. As for when I became a monk, I received ordination 10 years ago.
And how old are you?
How old was I when I was ordained? 23? Yeah. Is that true? I think that's true.
Once you reach 30, everything goes. You start
23
track.
now seems impossibly young to me.
Yeah, that's when you know you're old. And Sally says, could Bhante tell which book or chapter for Venerable Ajahn Chah's Just Knowing and Letting Go? All his books.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you look online, if you just type in Ajahn Chah, Knowing and Letting Go, then you'll find something.
And Bradley says, I've always found the suttas on the cessation of the six senses, contact, etc. super profound. Yep. Gabriella says, I looked for the book on silent illumination, meditation, by the way, and found 3 books, but none of them were called Silent Illumination.
Pretty sure he has a book called Silent Illumination. But I could be wrong. I am occasionally wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
go ahead.
Maybe if she sends an email, you can send her a link.
Yeah, send me an email.
info@buddhistinsights.com, and then Bhante will get back to you. And Sally says, the part I don't want to see as non-self is attachment to meditation. The wanting gain mind from practice, the seeking for meditation mind. I need practice on anicca anatta on this from now. Any suggestion, especially when not meditating?
Yeah, just see everything you encounter as impermanent and impersonal. Yeah. That's it.
Ethan has the name of the book. The Method of No Method, the chant practice of silent illumination by Master Sun Yan. Yes, okay, that's it.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
thumbs up.
What are you doing?
I wanted to try the thumbs up live. And Jay says, Bhante Vimavaransi edited to create an uncut version of it. Oh, never mind. It's another part of it. Sorry. Okay, that was the last comment. Oh, no. Sally says, is Dhammanupassana knowing both the mental object and its contents? For example, greed arises craving for pleasure feeling, so we know the whole contents and process, while Chittanupassana is just knowing there is greed.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah. Yeah, but again, it's really important not to get caught up in the content because the content is not really important. It doesn't really matter so much, but we need to know it. We need to be aware of it.
Okay. And unless there are other questions.
Yeah, so the attitude, it's kind of like if you're watching a kids show with a child and you're not really remotely interested in the show, but you have to pay attention to it so that you can relate to the child's experience. So you're paying attention even though you're not interested in being involved in the show at all. That's what it's kind of like with Dhammanupassana. You're paying close attention to whatever's arising in the mind, but you're not really interested. You're not interested in getting involved in it.
Oh, so lots of appreciation comments for the retreat. James says, the whole retreat has been amazing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And lots of sadhus.
Great.
Sally's asking, is silent illumination a mix of the four Satipatthanas? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, you can look at it that way if you like. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could look at silent illumination as kind of like the grand conglomeration of every single meditation method ever created, all globbed together into one formless mass. Or you could look at it as no method at all.
Gabriela says it's none of them, sort of.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
It's all of them, it's none of them, sort of. Yeah.
Great. And I think Bradley has a quick question. So we'll wait for, there you go. One of the things that makes it hard for me to let go is I'm afraid of changing from the person my friends thought I was, expect me to be.
Yeah, well, are your friends enlightened?
He also keeps adding on, in some ways it's irrational, but any tips on working with this?
Yeah, remember that your friends are not enlightened. So their expectations are not based upon wisdom. So basically, you need to realize that you have a choice. Your choice is to attain enlightenment with the highest happiness and the greatest capacity to be of benefit to all sentient beings, including your friends, or satisfy your friends' expectations and die confused and miserable. Which won't be much good for your friends either, by the way. Choice is yours.
The other thing is that you're changing anyway. So if you don't let go in the process, then you're just going to change for the worse. So your friends will still be disappointed. But instead, with Dhamma practice, you change for the better. And people then are like, oh, actually, you've become a better person. I'm glad you changed.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. This is great. You're having a great.
The other thing is that Dhamma practice does change you, but it changes you in wholesome ways. So people who appreciate the wholesome will appreciate your changing, even if it's not lining up with their expectations. And people who are not so wholesome, well, they'll go their own way, and that's not a problem because it's best not to be closely associated with unwholesome people in the first place.
Yeah, Kevin is echoing. I hear you, Bradley. As I've become more serious in my practice the last couple of years, honestly, most of my friends have sort of just slipped away.
Yeah, and you'll wind up making other friends who are more wholesome and who are more appreciative of wholesomeness and who encourage your wholesomeness. But also you might come to realize that your old friends actually are relatively wholesome, and what you thought their expectations of you were are maybe not so relevant. And those expectations fall away as they recognize that you're becoming a better and better person. Yeah, so don't worry about it. Just focus on cultivating your practice, knowing that it unerringly leads towards the good.
All right. And Sally also has another question. I felt I was the type of person with strong reaction to the mind rather than strong reaction to the body. So I should do the Chitta and Dhamma more.
Not necessarily. But it's good if you're not much familiar with these forms of meditation, it's good to practice them for a little while and see how it goes. And you might decide that you want to spend more time with them. Or you might find that body practice really is the most beneficial for you. Or maybe you'll use some blend of them. Experiment, see what happens. That's really how we learn. But yeah, you might decide you need to spend more time with Cittanupassana and Dhammanupassana. Maybe so. Anything else?
Bradley is also adding, but you're right, I've made a lot more wholesome friends too with Dhamma practice. That's true. Also, most of the people right now writing in the live chat live very close by. So Kevin and Cam are minutes away, well, maybe an hour away from here. So you're after the pandemic, all hung out. And Sally says, do we identify its hindrances arise in daily life? I know in meditation we should not categorize.
I mean, you should always be aware of what's going on in your mind. And if you notice any unwholesomeness coming up, then you should make an effort to disengage from it, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Okay? Okay?
Yeah, that's, I think, it.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bhante, for all your teachings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And thank you all for practicing so diligently every day. Since this pandemic has started, it's quite impressive, especially because we're meeting every day. So it's really great to be practicing together. We will be meeting again tomorrow at 8 a.m. With either sutta study or chanting. I don't remember what is on the schedule, but there's something. And then tomorrow evening again. So morning and evening for the entire week. And then next weekend, we'll have another weekend retreat called Making Friends with Suffering, where both Bhante and I will share a few words of Dhamma and practice. So look forward to seeing you in less than 12 hours. Have a good night rest and rejoice in your goodness, in your dedication to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and making yourself better people and inspiring others. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.